Tú eres muy malo. Roto el pato de vestuario. La interpretación siempre negativa. Siempre negativa. Nunca positiva.
Hello, welcome to Siempre Positivo after Barcelona's last gasp 2-1 win against Girona on Saturday. I'm Sam Marsden, joined by Toni Juan Martí. Toni, ¿qué tal?
Hi Sam, good afternoon. How are you?
Yeah, good. It's a good.
I guess happy, no? Claret's surviving.
You know what? It was a great football weekend for me all round. Big win for Burnley. The games you have to win at home to teams like Leeds United, who are going to be in and around you at the bottom of the table. Also a big win for my hometown team who I used to play for, Truro City, winning 2-1, making their way in the National League. And I also enjoyed the Ronald Araújo moment. There's nothing, you can't beat a last minute goal. That's football. You can almost forget everything that's gone before just for moments like that. When you're there, especially the sort of buzz and the way the stadium, which had been once again relatively poor, comes to life.
Then afortunado en el juego, lucky with the game and lucky with the love, so you cannot expect to be lucky in the following months in the love, if you are that lucky with football and games.
All right, you think I'm using all my luck up in points for Burnley and Truro City?
Yes, but you have to choose love for Burnley or love in other places.
Yeah, it would explain a lot of things. Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe you're onto something.
Sí. Bueno.
Right, we are at the start of a big week. Barcelona hosting Olympiacos in the Champions League on Tuesday, looking to bounce back, of course, from that defeat to Paris Saint-Germain in their last Champions League game. And then on Sunday, it's the first Clásico of the season. Barcelona travelling to the Santiago Bernabeu, 2 points behind Real Madrid at the top of La Liga after Barca beat Girona, but Real Madrid also won this weekend, 1-0 away at Getafe side, who ended the game with 9 men. But we're going to start rewinding to Saturday, Montjuic, the Olympic Stadium, where Barcelona made hard work of bottom of the table Girona. They are, of course, still missing lots of players through injury. There was no Ferran Torres, no Rafinha, no Robert Lewandowski, no Dani Olmo, no Gavi, no Joan Garcia, no Marc-André ter Stegen. But there was Lamine Yamal, he started the game. There was Fermin Lopez, he was on the bench. And there was a debut for 17-year-old Toni Fernandez. Well, not a full debut. He had played in the Copa del Rey last season, but a first start and a full La Liga debut for the teenager. He played through the middle with Marcus Rashford on the left. Barca were okay at the beginning. They took the lead through Pedri. It was probably deserved at that point. Brilliant goal. Some have compared it to a Messi-esque goal, and you can see why as he drifts across the area and then almost passes the ball back across the goalkeeper into the corner with his left foot. A lovely goal, but Barca switched off after the goal. Girona levelled through a spectacular bicycle kick through Axel Witsel, and they could have been 2-3, 4-1, 4-2 ahead by half-time. Time and again, they got in behind Barca's backline through sort of sloppy play through Barca, really, whether it was Jules Koundé or someone else, but they missed their chances. Porto hit the post. Vanat sent one. I've forgotten Vanat's one now, whether it was saved or went wide. I'm thinking of Brian Hills went over, but lots of chances came and went for Girona. Barca did have a couple as well. Marcus Rashford hit the bar with a brilliant free kick. Frankie de Jong had a shot saved by Gazzaniga, which was quite good. Barca did establish some more control after the break without really creating massive chances, and desperate times called for desperate measures, and Hansi Flick told Ronald Araújo to warm up and that he would be coming on as a striker. Araujo would later say that as he was getting ready to come on the bench, putting his shirt on, he said to his teammates on the bench, he said, "I'm going to come on and I'm going to score a goal." And he said they laughed at him, but he came on and scored a goal. He did in the 93rd minute after Hansi Flick had been sent off. We'll come on to that. It was Ronald Araújo who turned home Frankie de Jong's cross to give Barcelona a much needed 2-1 win and keep them within touching distance of Madrid and end a 2-game losing run, of course, against Sevilla and Paris Saint-Germain, Toni.
Sí, a ver, for me at the end of the season, the results that you get are the, how can I say this, the difference between the points that you should have won and you didn't, and the points that you should have lost and you didn't lose. No, so for example, every time that you win on the 93rd minute, it's true that everybody expected that Barça had to win at home against Girona. No, when the calendar was out and we were making numbers, everybody would have said, okay, 3 points there. So at the end, this is the most important thing at the end of the season, that you don't drop unexpected points. Because then if you go to Madrid or to play against Villarreal and you lose, you can accept this. But what will punish you at the end is unexpected points that you lose in your way to in your race to the title. So you got the 3 points, and when you are in that position that the team is not playing well, I would say that it's even better for the team, this doses of adrenaline, to win like the way Barca won than for example winning 2-0, 2 goals in the first half, not brilliant game, okay, we won, peep, end of the game, and not feeling nothing special, no? So I would say Barca can be lucky to receive this, because when you as a person, you are depressed, you want to live good things and intense good things, and that's what happened to Barca. When you want to react, when you need to keep fighting, even if you are not getting the good game that you expect, you need this thing. So for me, it's perfect that you win with this game, with this goal in the 93rd minute, because it's like, okay, we are not playing well. Hansi Flick has admitted this. We are not in our best moment. But when there is no football, if we keep playing with our heart, if we keep trusting and believing the football that we are playing, because this is the most important thing, when results do not arrive, players can start having doubts regarding the football or the DNA that the coach wants. When the football is not appearing, that you can keep going only with the heart, with attitude, is what has to bring you to pass these bad weeks until you recover your best moments. So perfect win, perfect doses of psychologist for Barça against Girona. This is the only conclusion I would take, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. I was speaking to, I sent a message to a Patreon who was at the game with his son over the weekend, and he said, not the greatest game, but there's something about those games, and I'm not saying, this is the catalyst for Barcelona to now turn everything around and start playing brilliantly immediately again. Obviously, there are some structural problems, there are injury problems. It's going to be a slow process to get there, you would have thought. But winning in that nature sometimes does give such a lift. Like you say, if they'd have won, if they'd have won 1-0 after Pedri's goal and Girona had have been, pushing for an equaliser or whatnot, or even if it had been 2-0 but then a sort of boring second half, people would have just been like, well, Girona are bottom of the table, what do you expect, etc., etc. But instead the narrative flips around, especially for the players of, if we fight, if we work hard, even if we're not in our best moments, we can still pull things out of the hat. And it was pulled out of the hat by Araujo. I guess we should speak about Araujo a little bit, because I don't know if I speak for you and Rick, but we've perhaps been, well, definitely not for Rick. Rick's obviously Araujo's biggest fan. It's such a shame he's not on the podcast today, because he's absolutely in love with El Uruguayo. But a different role for him coming on off the bench. But it did remind me sometimes, and I'm not saying this is a quality or a characteristic that means Barca should keep him if he's defending or if he doesn't find a place in his team as a centre-back, but just, his heart and his love for the club and his fight and his energy and everything. It just reminded me that he is a likeable guy, Araujo, and it was nice for him to have that moment.
See, and he needed what he lived, because he's not feeling started 100%. He has been criticised, has been doing some mistakes, that penalty in Sevilla, but I wouldn't forget that his duty, his work on the day-to-day is not scoring goals. Huh? So the problems that defensively there are there with Ronald, they are still there with Ronald. I mean, this is good for his mind, for his mood, but we don't have to mix things. We have to praise Ronald for what he does defending, not for what he does attacking. So yes, okay, you can score in the 93rd minute, but we all agree that this is kind of a little bit of lack. I mean, okay, what's going to change this? We are not going to use Araujo as a striker, and he's not going to score every week. But yes, he's going to give him an extra to keep working, to having extra patience, because maybe we will talk about this during this week or maybe in this pod, but is Ronald Araujo going to be started in the Clásico? Because I'm not sure about this. So maybe this goal can bring him like extra of patience until his moment arrives. And another thing related with this, that of the faith, of the mentality, of the winning mentality that Araujo brought in the game, is that something, yes, I would like to praise Flick for this, because normally Barcelona has been a loser team through its history. When we see Madrid games and they are drawing with 5 minutes missing, we all think they are going to win, they are going to score. I would say that when I was watching the game, I had the feeling that Barça would end up scoring, would end up finding the way to score the second goal. And I think that this point of view is something that has changed with Hansi Flick. How many days Barça has scored on the 93rd minute in the last year? I would say that more than in all the 5 years ago, more than all the 5 last years together. So Hansi Flick is bringing this mentality of no surrender, and supporters and people, we are start to think when we see these kind of games that Barça will end up scoring, and not only people, also players. I think they believe we will score, and they score. So for me, this is the biggest thing Hansi Flick is helping Barça with, changing the mentality.
You know that Hansi Flick, have you seen Hansi Flick's press conference before the Olympiacos game on Monday afternoon?
Yes.
When he said that not only, well, he's not said he's changing Barcelona, but he said that Barcelona's changed him. He was asked about sort of his touchline demeanour, his emotion, etc. And he said, when I was at Bayern Munich, they used to say that I had no emotions. He used the 8-2 win against Barcelona as an anecdote. He said, after the first goal, the second goal, after the 8th goal, they said he's never smiling, he's not smiling, he's emotionless. And he said that Barcelona have changed him to the point that obviously, at the end of this game, just to explain to people that maybe didn't see it, he was sent off, first of all, for clapping, dispute over what he was clapping. The referee said he was clapping a decision sarcastically. Hansi Flick said he was clapping Frenkie de Jong, saying, come on, Frenkie, sort of geeing him on. And then he was then shown a second yellow immediately for his reaction to that yellow and sent off. And then there's scenes where he's celebrating the winner, where he's doing like an up yours gesture, the Butifada kind of thing in Catalan.
How do you what's the name in English of doing this? Or there is no name for this?
I don't think there is a name for it. If there is a name for it, if someone can maybe comment on one of the podcast things or on one of the social media somewhere, because people were asking me this as well, because the Athletics Laia, what's her surname? Laia
Cervelló.
She was asking as well, because she was obviously doing it for the Athletics. I don't think there is a name for it in English. In ESPN, they edited my copy to just say a provocative gesture. I don't know if there is a name for that sort of, when you do that gesture. It basically means up yours, F you, F off kind of thing. Flick said it wasn't aimed at anyone. But yeah, coming back to the original point, so Flick said when he sees his behaviour and the emotions he sort of feels and acts on the touchline as Barcelona coach, he says he almost doesn't sort of recognise himself, or certainly doesn't like what he sees, and he says he feels really bad because his grandson's going to see it, and it's not good for him to see his grandpa like that. I thought it was a nice little line from Hansi.
Yeah, great answer, this one. Great answer, because I think everybody accepts that we make mistakes. So I went to a TV show and everybody were like praising him, and I said, okay, no, let's be fair. If Xavi had done it, we would say that it was bad done. So I think it's not a problem to say that the coach of Barça has not to do that. And Hansi Flick has been always praised for being elegant, and on that moment he was not elegant, and I'm happy that he admits it without a problem. So top statement, that one, because he's humble to say that it's something that shouldn't be done by Barca's coach.
Yeah, Barca are going to appeal the 2 yellow cards. It's unlikely to get them overturned. They'll probably have a touchline ban in the Clásico on Sunday. The referee in question, of course, was Gil Manzano, and the game ended with Barcelona fans singing unsavoury songs about Gil Manzano. I don't know if he can referee Barca games again after this and all the chants aimed at him. I think it could be impossible to give him a Barca game.
He's a clown. He's a clown. He has like list of wishes. I want to send off one time Messi, one time Suarez, one time Neymar, one time Flick, and it was his first time. So now he can be happy. He's incredible. This guy is incredible, but still there. So it's a mess what he was doing there, because after showing the first yellow card to Hansi Flick, he didn't leave. He waited there couple of 2 or 3 more extra seconds to see if Flick was doing something to get a reason to show him the second yellow card. So, just a clown, just a big clown, this Gil Manzano, yes.
For what I didn't understand was, where did Flick go when he was sent off? Because then when he's celebrating the goal, he still just seems just to be in the dugout or on the touchline.
Yeah, he was on the, ¿cómo se dice? En la puerta del túnel de vestuarios.
In the tunnel, yeah.
Yeah, and he's not really allowed to be there. So it could have been reported in the how do you say, in the report of the game, or in the acta?
Yeah, the referee's report.
Yeah, but it was not included. But in the case it had been included, it could have been like an extra game of suspension. But luckily, it was not of the match report of the referee, and also what he did, this provocative move that he did with the hands, it was not also included. So at the end, he can still consider himself lucky, Hansi Flick, because he will be only 1 game banned.
Yeah, it looks like he'll get away with those things. So funny that if they're not included in the ref's report, they can't be punishable. Because everyone can see them these days with cameras and whatnot. I'm not saying he should be punished, but it's funny that it's like if things aren't included in the referee's report, they didn't happen.
No, but officially it's like it didn't happen. The 1 game that he will get is only for the 2 yellow cards.
Yeah.
For this what he did, is nothing will happen.
Yeah. Not too much else to say about the Girona game. Not a great performance from Barca. Like I said, Pedri looked very tired. He came off in the second half. Lamine Yamal, positive that he got 60 minutes in the tank before Olympiacos and Real Madrid this week. 45 minutes also for Fermin Lopez.
No.
Perhaps slightly concerning moments again from Jules Koundé, who's nowhere near 100% at the moment. A few mistakes with and without the ball from him in both halves. And also, obviously, a debut for Toni Fernandes. He looks a little bit, from my point of view, and people might think this is being harsh, but he looked like a 17-year-old making his debut in. He was playing as a 9 for Barca in a tight game. He slipped over a few times. There was one time he ran the ball out of play. It certainly wasn't his best game, but let's be honest, he's 17. It's not normal what other people have done before him.
But for me, it's very smart what Hansi Flick is doing with some players. He did it with Draw, he did it with Toni Fernandes, because at the end, normally games are solved, or difference normally sometimes are made in the second half. So normally in tough games, or when you don't have a lot of players, if you have a good one in the bench, like Fermin, who is better and he was being back from an injury, and you play with Fermin in the first half when the opponent is full power, defending well, and after 60 minutes you are 0-0 and you bring Toni Fernandes in, it's not a hit. It's not like, wow, we now go with him. Normally, the first half is tough. First minutes, not big things happen. Normally, with this Barca of Hansi Flick, sometimes has been different, and after 30 minutes, they already were winning 3-0. But when you are not in a good moment and things are difficult, you can arrive at the end of the first half with no big difference, being difficult to create chances. So it's so smart what Hansi Flick is doing, because he says, okay, I start the game with Toni Fernandes. If nothing good happens, I have the card of Fermin for the second half, or still Ronnie Bargi. And then you can feel that, yes, now that the opponent will be more tired, if I go with Fermin and Ronnie, I can hurt them. So if you do it in the other way, if you need to score a goal and then you go with the 2 kids of 17 years old, the opponent will say, okay, now it's easier because we were playing against Lamine and now it's draw. So it's a mental issue also, and I'm happy that Hansi Flick is doing this, because sometimes in the first half there is no big difference if he's playing Draw or Fermin, almost because sometimes when a team defends well or whatever, it's difficult to make the difference. So I'm happy that he went with Draw the other day, he went with Toni, and then in the halftime you make the substitution, and then you have 45 minutes of quality of a better player who can change things sometimes. So I'm happy that Hansi Flick is brave for these decisions.
Yeah, no, I like it. I like how he's managed things with Toni and Dro, and like you say, not just the fact that they're playing those minutes, but also just the fact that they are ticked off now. It sort of creates less of pressure on them if they are needed in other games, etc. Because they've got those debuts out the way. They're in and around the first team squad, and Ronnie Bardghji as well, obviously getting plenty of minutes. We'll see if any of them are in action on Tuesday when Barcelona host Olympiacos. We'll be back on Patreon after that, and later this week, obviously loads of stuff to get through. The Olympiacos game, the preview for Real Madrid, so there'll be episodes dropping over on there throughout the week. In the meantime, stay positive.
Sorry about the word, but it's totally bullshit, okay? Sorry about the word, but it's totally bullshit, okay? Sorry about the word, but it's totally bullshit.